Let's get started. Welcome to Extra Star Wars. Over the next 100 days, and before the Kenobi series debuts, Extra Star Wars is going to tackle the comics. The comics are a hard medium to keep up on as they're constantly in motion, crossing over between storylines and branching off into a multiverse of madness. Journey with me as we learn some of the details you'll never see on any screen, learn some ridiculous Easter eggs, and help me understand more of this Star Wars galaxy. Extra Star Wars presents Weekly Comics. Welcome, you people out there in interactive internet land. Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast in the chat. How are you? We've got lots of comics. I had intro music playing that I was monitoring on the YouTube, and I didn't hear it. And that's curious, because I can hear it in my headphones, and if I can hear it in my headphones, you should be able to hear it too. But it's not working today, so whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to see if we'll be able to play this, and you should be. Let's see if we can hear this. We're going to play some tunes in the background, courtesy of backingtrack.gg. Let's see if it works. I gotta do a little monitor in my ear here. Let's see. You gotta do a little monitor. Okay, I hear it in there, so you might hear a little bit of echo. Used and Abused Pod, how are you? Welcome on out. This is great. Welcome back. I've been eagerly anticipating this chat. I think my audio should be fine for now. So we got a little synth going. Let me know if it's a little too loud for you, if my voice isn't coming through too loud. Gonna burp. Yuck. Oh, Thursday. I streamed Mario Kart 8 yesterday for 2.5 hours, and my little itty-bitty fingers hurt from the controller. I'm very upset by this, but we played, and it was lots of fun. So if you like that kind of stuff, twitch.tv/extratechie. I was just over in 97 Bravo, 97 Bravo, 1997, the winter of 1997 Bravo, watching a little bit of the Star Wars The Old Republic stream. And he's got some high quality stuff going on over there, so make sure you check that out. It's going to be good stuff. So thank you for joining me. I've read up through number 9 of the High Republic comics. Fantastic. Okay, so I try my best to put on the best show I can, and last week I was unimpressed with my knowledge, and I can tell I'm a little off camera because eventually I'm going to make my way over here to this. So apologies for the camera right now. I don't like being made a fool of, and by being made a fool of, I mean I don't like not knowing stuff. You know what I mean? So for me to not know some things, that was a little embarrassing. So I went ham. I've read through number 14. 1 through 14, reread it, wrote down notes, wrote down some key points, and we're going to get you all caught up. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I don't want to spend hours on this. This is meant as a quickish recap. I'm going to go through some of this stuff. And again, we're going to see how everything works out. So I thank you for joining me in this. I think the story's really good so far. I am not going to go past number 9. I am going to split it down the middle, and we're going to go 7. And then we'll finish up those 7 next week. You may have noticed over on the Extra Star Wars Instagram that I'm just throwing pictures of the comics at the Instagram. And the timeline is looking pretty awesome right now, with just artwork after artwork after artwork. And that's really, really cool. So for me to stay consistent with that is awesome. I'm going to pick up the... See if my... I'm getting a bad quality on my phone as I'm watching it back. I want to make sure that it's okay. Let's see. Higher picture quality looks to... Anyways, So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm excited to bring it to you, and hopefully we'll be in and out of here before 10:30-ish. That way you can get on with your night. And I definitely am starting earlier for the 9:30 because I was very sleepy last time. So grab a beverage, do your thing, and let's start with one side story. Boom. Everybody's favorite Star Cruiser, Disney's wonderful, easy to get, easy to pay for Galactic Star Cruiser is right here. I was at the comic book shop and I was perusing through the stuff because the guy his name's Dave from Comic Collections. He puts all this stuff in my bag and I go, can I go to that table? And he's like, yeah. And I spread it all out and I look at stuff and I pick up, I pick and choose what I want, kind of like normal. And this wasn't quite in it, but I was putting some stuff back and I went back into where the Star Wars comics are and I was like, wait just 1 second. There's a comic on the Galactic Star Cruiser. Please and thank you. Give that to me. We're going to definitely collect this because this will definitely trigger some people. I just read it tonight. It's fresh in the brain. I have some notes on it. But what's cool is that it has ties, as you can tell by the High Republic Wookiee Jedi on the front. It has ties to the High Republic, so it will certainly come in useful when we get into our High Republic discussion. Okay, so let me just turn my phone off because I think we're doing okay. Hopefully the stream is of a quality in terms of not blurry or anything like that. I'm getting stream health is excellent through YouTube. And I definitely forgot to start this on StreamYard, so I won't be able to feature your comments. My bad. So I'll try my best to read them as they come in. I'm so used to just manually doing it through OBS that I just default to OBS, and here we are. Because I often use OBS as my virtual webcam, so I can show you all sorts of neat-o things. So there's that. So we got our side story. Let's check it out. I am actually using a document camera. I think, Ro, you used the document camera at one point. And yeah, go ahead and answer that poll. 67% of you say that you have read So It Looks Good on My TV. Ooh, very good. Thank you very much. Awesome. I apologize for this. I wanted to put my camera a little smaller because I was like right up in everybody's face last time. And I want you to focus in on the content this time around. So it's all right here. All right, let me extend the microphone over and let's see what we have. I'm caught on this cable. Hold on 1 second. I'm free. All right. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Halcyon. Is it Halcyon? Halcyon Legacy. First off, look at the lightsaber right now. Hold on. Watch this. I can do that. You can do little zoomies on this thing. Look at that lightsaber. Beautiful crossguard. Love the High Republic costuming. It's awesome. Zoom out. Okay. Let me get rid of the High Republic #1 just for a second. That way we have a little bit of room here. Okie dokie. Let's open it up. Captain Carter #1. Really cool. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna try my best. Hopefully you can see some of this stuff. All right. So this takes place over a few time periods. We have now, we have years ago, and then we have approximately 265 years ago, and then back to the now. Let's get started. Launch pod en route to the Halcyon Star Cruiser. We've got families on this this launch pod. I think this launch pod is the same launch pod, quote-unquote launch pod that they are using to transport guests between the hotel and the park, which is just a refrigerated box truck. We have a grandfather and his granddaughter, and they're traveling about. Samina is the granddaughter. Shor Kamrin is the grandfather. We have some patrons here, and they're just talking. Please, don't start with that kind of talk before the vacation even starts. Do you know how hard it is to get reservations on the Halcyon? All right, so they're already making fun of it, so that's great. And then, I wish we were there already. What is this ship like? Well, see for yourself. Whoa, look at this beautiful Halcyon ship. I actually probably would buy it in Lego form because I'm a sucker for cool-looking designs and ships. Swoosh. Then we have a droid. I am D309. And I am here to blah, 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 blah. According to Shor Kamran, your lady Simina. Is there anything you would like to do? Yeah, I'd like to go to the lightsaber training pod. Oh, we should go to our cabin to settle in. They're literally telling you what's happening there. Oh, grandfather, don't be such a grumpy blurg. This says blurg. Look at this. Can I zoom in one more time? Let's see. Can I do it again? Oh, I can. Look at me go. One more time. Oh, how fun. How fun. Let's see. We have Grumpy Blurg. Don't you remember what it was like to be a kid? And then this is the droid. It goes, as I recall, you did have quite the adventure on the Halcyon back then. And then he goes, you remember me? And now we start to get a little bit of interesting tidbits. So this is officially called the Halcyon Legacy. I can't say that word right. I'm going to get it wrong every single time. Part 1, The Storm on the Horizon. So this is going to be a multi-part series. Really cool. Wait just 1 second. That's Anakin Skywalker. That's Asajj Ventress. That's Samina. That's Natalie Portman, a.k.a. Padme. And this says years ago. So what is happening right now? This is some sort of holo, I think. Shoomp. And then I guess there's some kind of training session. And then the grandfather comes in. There's a wow, 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 which sounds a little bit like this. Oh no. I can't hear that. Why can't I hear that? Oh my gosh, we gotta fix it immediately. Stream Deck. I think it's system that's being weird, so let me go to sample. There it is. Okay, we see it. There's like alarms and stuff. This is Captain Kevin. There's a ship inbound. We're back to the now. Look, it's the guy from what's he called? Captain America with the red hair. Hey. We've intercepted a resistance transmission coming from the Halcyon, and the First Order will pay handsomely for it. Excuse me, and oh, look at this, an ad for the Galactic Star Cruiser. Scan this QR code to save $5. See it, feel it, live it. So turn over the spy, or the Halcyon will not be around to make its ready. Here we go, some detail work. Historic 275th anniversary run next month. I think it opens up next month, right? So this is well orchestrated in the marketing. Pirates, they'll blow us all up. Oh, Lady Sim, don't be afraid. The Halcyon has faced down many more dangerous situations over its 2 3/4 centuries. Really? Oh, yes, I remember the first time we were attacked. And we go into a flashback. Absolutely, Dave. If they do create the clone trooper helmets, it is an instant buy for Lego, for sure. Thanks for staying on topic, and thank you for being here. 265 years earlier. Okay, so now let's just a little bit of detail here. We have Wookiee Buriyaga. He's a Padawan. This is Nib Assek. Nib is the master of Buriyaga. Buriyaga has a very, very strong empathy. Can't say the word. He's got a lot of empathy. He can feel others' feelings, but like amplified. Buri. Boom. Oh my gosh, what's happening here? He's having a little PTSD about the hyperspace disaster that happened to the Hetzel system. Let's see. They get to the bridge and they find out that these ships are appearing out of nowhere. And, oh, looky here, we have the Nile. So all of a sudden we have a Halcyon Star Cruiser, which is located at Disney World and Disneyland. And Disneyland too, yeah, I think so. And they have connected it to the High Republic. So, the High Republic is dead. They're not going to do anything with it. It's a direct connection in the comics that only 5 people will read. Take evasive action, get those engines, blah, blah, blah. They start to fire on them. They disable. Okay, now we have this dude. He is named Zeter. He is part of a Tempest. He took over for Pan Eta, who was killed in one of the adult novels. Spoiler alert. They're looking for information on the Halcyon. We have an immediate reference to something that's probably at the Star Cruiser, which is Shug's hyperspace compass. I don't know what it is, but there's something going along with this. I wonder if it has something to do with like prospecting hyperspace lanes, because that's pretty big in the High Republic. Nib asks Burry to boost the Force so they can contact people for help because they've jammed communications, and jamming communications can only mean one thing: invasion. The Nile board the ship, and Burry scurries to the Vectors. The Vectors are these Jedi craft that are very nimble and only react to Jedi Force-ish powers, I guess. Nile gas, as usual, gets put out. Nib Asek is an older lady, but the Halcyon are under Jedi protection and I will not let you pass. Bada bing, there's a battle. Crackle, battle, pop, boom. Burryaga shooting at people. Nice little punch to the face. Burry having a great time. Schloop, this is interesting. The little mech is that Zeter character, like an Iron Man sort of mech suit, can repel lightsabers. So I wonder if that's made out of like a Beskar or something like that. I don't know. What are you doing to hide on the bridge? And this is pretty interesting. Let me just zoom in on this. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, look at this little guy. Babu Frick's cousin is on the Halcyon 265 years ago, so that's pretty cool, I guess. If you want to make that connection to the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy is also dying. Time to fight for the Halcyon, so they motivate. The Halcyon crew is like, we have to protect the ship. Nib Asek is sort of like in a bad situation. Burry is being complicated. They're shooting at him. Nib gets the upper hand taken away from her. Zeter is about to kill her, I guess. Look at this going on. And then the Halcyon crew comes out of nowhere. Pew, 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 pew. And just like that, more Vectors come out of nowhere. Look at this beautiful shot. Let's just take a look real quick. Look at this. Look at this. 2 suns coming right at you. Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, Stellan Gios, council member of the Republic Jedi connection thing, and Burryaga is very exciting. Boom, boom. I have secured the codes for the Chandra Charter Company's shipyards, transmitting them now. And then Zeter's like, cool, thanks for doing that. Oh, by the way, you're dead. And then kills him. Nile. Crazy. He blows a hole in the Halcyon ship. Boom, boom. He goes out there. Nib Asek sort of like closes it with using the Force and like her hands, which is pretty cool. And then they're like, hey, you know, it's we're safe. And then it goes back to the robot, and they basically say the lightsaber training pod was built to commemorate the Nile attack and the Jedi saving the Halcyon. But wait, the pirates are still there. They warm up their laser weapons and fire on the Halcyon. To be continued. What is she doing there? Thought she was dead. What are you hyped? They could make the default phase 1, phase 2, the 501st, the 212th, the 303rd. I don't know what any of that means, but if you're hyped for it, I'm hyped for it. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to pick out a clone trooper helmet from one clone trooper helmet to another clone trooper helmet. Okay. There we go. That is the Halcyon Legacy. Make sure you book your Galactic Star Cruiser. Right, we will get this out of the way. Where are we going to put it? How about there? All right. Let's see if this this little buddy works now. Hopefully you heard that. I don't know. So we're into the main story. This is where we're really going to get started. I will try my best to keep it short and to the point, and let's see what happens here. All right. Number 1, Star Wars: The High Republic. We'll quickly come through this. All right. The galaxy is at peace, ruled by the glorious Republic and protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights. As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see. But just as a magnificent renaissance spreads throughout the Republic, so does a frightening new adversary. Now the Guardians of Peace and Justice must face the threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself. Okay, we read that last week. Here we go. So Keeve Trennis is a Padawan training for the trials, and Master Skier trains her, who's a Trandoshan. Keeve is a Spitfire with a double-bladed lightsaber that can also come apart, which is cool. Skier has one arm, which was lost in another story, which was the Battle of Kur at the end of Light of the Jedi. While completing her Jedi Trials, here we go. Let's get to the Jedi Trials. Okay. Boom, boom. Star Wars: The High Republic. There is no fear. Trial by ordeal. Okay, so now she's got to get to the top of these needle-looking thingamajiggies. So while completing her Jedi Trials, Keeve attempts to climb these needles. She uses a lightsaber like a sword to stop her fall, which is pretty interesting. And then they get attacked by giant red bugs. And she, like, befriends these people, and she's sort of in tune with nature, whatever. It cuts to Master Avar Kriss and Master Avar Kriss, let's see. This takes place after the Great Disaster and before the dedication of Starlight Beacon. So at the same time of Light of the Jedi, so to speak. They mention a lost Master Jedi called Jorah Mali, who was killed at the Battle of Kur, which is toward the end of Light of the Jedi. Spoiler alert. Yoda and Vader. Look at this, dudes. Whoop. Yoda man, and Vader, Master Vader. We don't really know who that is, but we know he's a master. They show up to chit-chat about Bacta manufacturing. And this dude mentions the Star Hopper, which actually will sidetrack us to the IDW series called Adventures, Star Wars High Republic Adventures. So that's where Yoda's been doing. That's going to be the next comic series I take place. That's probably going to be week 4 of comics when we start getting into that IDW series. They offer her Starlight Beacon as the Marshal, which is kind of a big deal. We go back to Keeve, who hops into a Vector to defend against the red bugs. They figure out that the red bugs are attracted to Starlight Beacon's signal. Keeve sort of looks into the mind of the bug to figure that out. They're sort of being attracted to it like a blue light and some flies or whatever. So they change the signal, and Keeve leads them away with her Vector because she replicated the signal in her Vector and leads them away. She abandons her ship, and they also say that Vectors are a little easy to come by, which I thought was interesting. She jumps, kind of saving the way, yada, yada, yada. Skier, Master Skier, reprimands Keeve silently, and he calls for another ship. Keeve Trennis meets Avar Kriss on Starlight Beacon, and she curses. And at some point, I'm going to go over those curses because I find them to be fun. In the next scene, let's see. Zoop. Keeve is like, you know, I didn't mean to do it. Like, I was just trying to protect this town, and I know I didn't blah, 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 blah. Avar goes, are you done? Are you done? And she's like, yes. She ignites her lightsaber and knights Padawan Keeve Trennis to Jedi Knight Keeve Trennis. Later on, this is at the end of Light of the Jedi. It's the dedication ceremony with all the Jedi on Starlight Beacon. This is a beautiful scene for light and life. And there's lots of Jedi and lots of things to look at here. And she is a hot mess, crying her eyes out. Very proud moment for her, Keeve Trennis. And that's just really cool looking. But wait 1 second. Skier, having some issues. Something's going on with him in his head. And that sort of ends number 1 of the High Republic. So just to recap, we got Keeve Trennis. She was knighted as a Jedi. She helped save a little town, and then promptly got knighted by Avar Kriss. So Avar Kriss seems to be a big deal. Master Avar Kriss, of course. Moving on to number 2. Like I said, we're gonna fast and furious this for sure. Moving on to number 2. Let me prep my notes. Number 2 is called There Is No Fear. This is the same information, but this is new. Young Keeve Trennis triumphantly passed her trials and is now a Jedi Knight, but her master Skier is greatly troubled. Something is very wrong. Keeve is now a Jedi Knight. The Force is with me, and I am one with... I like this. The Force is with me, and I am one with the Force. Blah, blah, blah. That actually cracked me up when I first read it, and then when I reread it, I thought it was really funny as well. Introducing the Kotabi twins, Terek and Seret. They share one mind as identical twins, and they are known in this book as legends. Okay, so Keeve is a young Jedi Knight. They've been around for a while. They share one mind. They're legends. Skier is still there, and they are responding to a distress signal. There's bodies floating up. This must be a Nihil attack. They enter the main hull, and there is yellow gas. They split up to search. And Skier has a little bit of a flashback right here to the Battle of Kur. Look at the thing going through his arm. That's where he lost his arm, which is like major trauma. They find, are you ready for this, everybody? A dead Hutt slug. Look at this dude. He's all shot up. The Nihil gas is out of control. There's people just hung from the rafters. It's wild. They may have been selling grain to desperate worlds, and they attempt to find out what happened through a droid, and someone attacks. Skier yells, Surik's blade! Which is kind of like, I guess it's one of those colloquialisms of the High Republic. Look at this. Click. Ah! Fwip! Surik's blade, Vizoom. They defend. It is a Nihil. And, unfortunately, Skier tries to attack, or tries to track him, but can't seem to use his Force abilities. And just absolutely goes ham on him. Cuts him in half. And then decimates him. Slice, slice, slice. Ooh. Yikes. Let's just zoom in right here real quick. This is fun. Ready? What's that look like to you right there? Yes, right there. Dank Ferric Mandalorian little reference point there. Very cool. This is where the story gets a little interesting. They contact Starlight to report on the incident, and they kind of lie about the Nihil survivor. They said no one survived it, so they're not telling the truth here to Master Avar Kriss. They analyze the barley and where it came from, and they figure out that it is a key ingredient in Bacta. Once again, if you don't know, Bacta doesn't really exist. It's up and coming technology. Bacta is what Boba Fett slept in during his nightly bath times, right? Get him to the Bacta tank. Anywho's, so we've got the next mission, which is Chris sends them to Sedri Minor while her and Jedi Vernestra Rowe, which is another Jedi from another story. She's green in color, and she is like a 16-year-old Jedi Knight, while they recover the craft that was attacked. Skier and Serret head to Sedri. Keeve wants to go, but is denied. She feels very wary about this, because she knows Skier is going through some stuff. They arrive at Sedri Minor to the chagrin of the leader, who wants nothing to do with the Republic. Serret sees something in the crops. Signs. And a large tendril looms above him. Chris arrives to the ship and learns the truth about what happens. Tarek, the brother, suddenly cries out in pain. Skier goes to look for him, but he is gone. Serret, where are you? To be continued. In number 3. Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so to recap, they find a ship that was attacked by the Nile. A Hutt was into grain for Bacta manufacturing. They find that it's from Sedri Minor. There's an unwelcome party there. Serret disappears, and we need to find out where he goes. Let's keep on going. Number 3 of 7. Star Wars The High Republic, number 3. Scroll. This is called Chapter 3, Down Below. Aboard a derelict Hutt ship, a lone Nile warrior attacked Keeve, Skier, and the Jedi twins Tarek and Serret. Skier brutally slaughtered the Nile, much to Keeve's shock. Something dark is happening to Skier. The trail of the Jedi's investigation led them to Sedri Minor, where Serret has just vanished without a trace. So we are on the Atraxia, which is Avar Chris's ship above Sedri Minor. Tarek is experiencing something bad. There's lots of tension. Chris calls out to Skier for butchering the Nile. Skier responds with, wait, like you've never made a mistake. A story for another time, as Maz would say. Keeve stands watch outside while things is happening and speaks to the locals. The locals tell Keeve that people have been missing. Also, the fields are rotting, but they have not contacted Starlight. Introducing Cal Solman. Cal Solman, I think, is the same species as the Last Jedi Canto Bite, the Fatier Wrangler or something like that, I think. And it looks to me. So he's trying to keep people quiet. Keeve decides to investigate, and she uses the first curse word, which we will highlight, called Criff. Criff is a curse word. She meets a kid called Bartol, and they start looking together through the fields where Serret disappeared. They find a sinkhole, which looks very menacing, and the kid jumps in knowing that she would catch him. And Keeve asks Bartol, how did you know I was going to catch you? And he goes, aren't we supposed to trust the Jedi? I think that's a fair point. Fair point. Let's see. Keeve feels cold like a shadow. She feels something bad. Meanwhile, Maru calls into Avar Chris, who tables Skier's issues for another time. The Hutt is there for an autopsy. Meanwhile, also Maru tells Chris that they contacted the council, and Avar Chris was like, okay, I don't really have all that information, but I guess you did. Coleman enters the ship complaining that they're interfering with their work. Chris and Coleman look for Keeve. Skier stays behind. Back to the sinkhole. Keeve and Bartol continue to explore, and the darkness grows stronger. there's like black text that says, "You will be consumed." They find Serret and Bartol trapped in vines. Bartol's friend is absolutely dead. Serret is maybe alive. A tendril attacks Bartol. Where is it? A tendril attacks Bartol. Right here. And Keeve ignites her lightsaber and slashes at it. She brings the lightsaber back to her, and holy bejesus, our first look at the Draenjeer. Draenjeer? Don't know how to pronounce it. We're going to go with Draenjeer. Draenjeer attacks are these sentient dark plant creatures that feed on the dark side of the Force and also suck the life out of people. They have nothing to do with the Nile. They're just a different type of enemy. So we're back to Tarek. Sskeer tries to help him. Tarek exposes him to something. He should have been wearing a mask. And infects him, I think. It looks like, for me, it looks like it's Draenjeer spores. The Draenjeer starts getting Keeve, but Chris comes in. Hold on. Keeve is not doing well here. Chris comes in, slices that sucker right down the middle. Hell yeah. Chris helps Serret out of the dark, but uh-oh. They're not dead. You can't slice them down the middle. All you did was create two of them. That's no fun. And, oh boy, because of the Draenjeer spores, now Sskeer is sort of hallucinating and is taken over by the Draenjeer with a brand new Draenjeer arm. Mark IV Draenjeer arm with his lightsaber extended. To be continued. Master Sskeer is not having a great day. First, he's having visions of PTSD. Now he gets spored. No fun. No fun for him. Let's keep going. Number 4. Check it out. Thanks for sticking with me. Here we go. Look at the cover. They're upside down. Sskeer has the Draenjeer arm. He's looking to strangle Avar Kriss. Not great. Let's get our notes ready to go. Chapter 4, Song of the Draenjeer. I'm going to do a little flashback. 6 years ago, Sskeer and Keeve are training. Sskeer is a renowned technician and respected scholar. Keeve falls. This is kind of a little Matrix idea. You know, they're jumping over cliffs. Keeve falls, and Sskeer catches her. And we go back to the now. What happened to Sskeer that he goes from loving Padawan, or loving master, and someone who's a protector, to this? Chris, Keeve, Bartol, and Serret captured in the Draenjeer tendrils. Chris tries to talk to him, but he has cut himself off by the Force. Cut off by the Force. Now we go into a Draenjeer history lesson. The Draenjeer was plentiful, and they worked alongside the Sith. But the Sith betrayed them and trapped the original Draenjeer, like the great progenitor. But basically, all the Draenjeer are alive because of one singularity, like a single root, a master root. So they trapped the great progenitor on the Amaxine station, which is an Into the Dark reference, a young adult novel. It's also the same station that our friend Kylo Ren and Snoke meet on. So it's a very, very dark place. So when the travelers on Into the Dark went to the station, they interrupted, so they found these totems, and they were like, oh my gosh, who put these totems here? Let's disrupt them and take them back to Starlight Beacon. When they took the totems away, they woke up every single Draenjeer in the galaxy. Hence why we have Draenjeer attacks. We're back on Starlight. The Hutt is infested with roots of the Draenjeer. We've got several Jedi, Imri, Vern, and Orba, and they're all from other stories, but they're making little cameos right now. Something bursts from the Hutt's body. Back to Sedri Minor. Keeve tries to talk, but it's not working. The Draenjeer starts feeding on them. Skier heel turns the Draenjeer. Ready? Boom. He says, I did it to understand the true nature of the Draenjeer. He allowed himself to get captured. All the Jedi escape. Skier tries to explain, but Bartol is still captured. There he is right there. Keeve slashes and calls them scum maggots. I love scum maggots. We got Criff and scum maggots. Meanwhile, look at this scene. Look at this. Jedi are. They're out. Look at this. Looks really cool. Meanwhile, on the top side of everything, Cal is pummeling a citizen. Chris and team confront him. Cal summon. We need to have a word. Okay. A Draenjeer, meanwhile, a Draenjeer is now loose on Starlight Beacon because of the Hutt, which is real fun. We have another curse word called Druck. Druck. Keeve announces new visitors. The Hutt cartel has arrived. More people and characters riding Rancors. Nicely done, Rancor riders. All right. 5, 6, 7. 3 to go. All right, so to recap, Skier got captured by the Draenjeer on purpose to understand them. We learn of the Draenjeer's past, which has everything to do with just being evil and working with the Sith. So they're hundreds of thousands of years old. Eventually, the Sith betray them and put them into a sleep state on the Amaxine station. They get woken up by Jedi who thought they were smart and took the totems away. And into the dark. And then we have Chris and company escaping to Cole Sulman and saying, we need to have a talk. And yeah, it's heating up. It's heating up here. Lego. I think I have this. I know I have that. The Hutt show up. A derelict Hutt ship, a Nile incursion. This is Chapter 5, Attack of the Hutts. Stupid name. A derelict Hutt ship, a Nile incursion, missing colonists, Starlight's Jedi hunt for answers leads them into a deadly trap set by the monstrous Draenjeer. On Sedri Minor, Skier managed to break free from the Draenjeer's control, saving Keeve trying to send their fellow Jedi. While the Draenjeer assault Starlight Beacon, the Hutts arrive on Sedri Minor to protect their holdings. The Jedi now face impossible odds in a 3-front war. Let's get to our notes. All right, so this is sort of happening in the future, and then it goes backwards. Okay, so the Hutts attack. There's Rancors. Serret or Tarek is stomped. Keeve defends. Swam. Boom, gets stomped by the Rancor. Very scary. Now let's go back. This Hutt is called Miarga. Okay, they signed a contract with the people of the world. In exchange for the grain, they will protect them. So with the Jedi there, they think that the Jedi are the evil ones bothering the people of Sedri Minor. Unfortunately, Avar Kriss is trying to negotiate with them, but Skier gets a little aggressive? I think he's using aggressive negotiations, as they would say. And he attacks Miarga. Now, Miarga doesn't appreciate that and orders all of his people to start firing. Back on Starlight, they continue to attack and are also infecting other people. Terrible plague. Imri gets seized. Vern saber whips him free. Let's look at the saber whip. Look at this thing. She looks at her saber. She clicks something, and it turns into this saber, this purple saber whip, which is pretty cool. Back to Sedri Minor. Serret's in a Rancor's mouth. Tarek puts a Rancor to sleep, so obviously Tarek and Grogu have the same force ability. The twins are back to full strength, just like that. No back to tank required. Skier and Miarga fight. Keeve tries to intercept them. And Keeve ends up realizing what's going on and cuts off the arm of Master Skier, the Draenjeer arm. Chris suspends Miarga and holds off blasts. Skier and Keeve sort of have their little mini battle. Meanwhile, Cal tries to get off the planet. The citizens try to stop him. They punch him in the face. Sidebar. I said, yeah, I think it's confirmed now if you look at some of these that Cal, this guy is definitely the same species as the guy on Canto Bite. Rancor breaks through the house. Skier reveals he's been losing Force connection and was embarrassed to tell anybody, telling Keeve. Skier knows the terrible nature of the Draenjeer, the plants. And if we get there, now we're getting many distress calls. So now Avar is like, listen, Miarga, we're not the enemy. The Draenjeer are the enemy. We need your help to battle them. And he's like, how do you know that there's actually anything else? And she basically broadcasts all the distress calls from the galaxy. So Chris shows that the Draenjeer are the bigger threat. Miarga agrees to fight together. Skier realizes he is one with the Draenjeer and suggests a mind touch. Keeve tells the Draenjeer that the meat is rotten and spoiled. So Keeve mind touches, which is like a Jedi mind trick, but they call it the mind touch. Skier, who is connected to the Draenjeer, Keeve tells the Draenjeer that the meat is spoiled. Upon learning that, all the Draenjeer in the immediate area start to retreat. But there are some consequences to the mind touch. Skier is down. To be continued. Terrible show. I did not like it. Falcon and Winter Soldier, not my favorite. All right, number 5 done. 2 to go. 2 to go. We're doing well. We're doing well. Thank you for sticking with me. One of my favorite covers. Master Avar Kriss riding a Rancor. Ooh, Moon Knight. We're into a new chapter now. Heart of the Draenjeer. The Draenjeer assault on the galaxy unites. The Draenjeer assault on Starlight Beacon and Sedri Minor was stopped thanks to an uneasy alliance between the Jedi and the Hutts. Jedi Keeve Trennis' desperate gambit to help stop the attack paid off, but may have cost the life of her former master Skier. Now a much greater conflict is about to test Keeve and the Jedi like never before. All right, here we go. Final 2. Davik, located on the Outer Rim. It's been months since the Hutts and since the attack on Sedri Minor. The Draenjeer have returned stronger. Chris and Miarga fight side by side against the Draenjeer. So Chris and the Hutts are continuing, great photo here, are continuing to fight against the Draenjeer. As you can tell, Tarek and Seret are still there. On Starlight Beacon, however, Maru is contacted by Stellan Gios, and again, he is a council member. He is in the adult novels. He is like the perfect example of a Jedi. Skier is in a state of stasis. Keeve is with him. The doctor thinks it's more of a mental thing than physical thing. Back to Davik. They find the settlers, but they're dead. A Draenjeer attacks the Rancor, which is pretty crazy to think about. Look at it. It's just sucking into the Rancor. Not fun for the Rancor. Chris calls for reinforcements. Maru and Keeve are called. Keeve deactivates the shield and is attacked by the Skier, Draenjeer, whatever. She has a Force vision, which is like inside the Draenjeer, and they call it the root mind. So Skier and Keeve are reunited and they hug. Criff, it's good to see you. This is not the Jedi way. I don't care. Neither do I. Attachment. Which is kind of cool. Little attachment stuff there. They try to figure out the root mind mechanism. Back on Davik, the Jedi realize Keeve is not with them, but within the Draenjeer. The stasis shield is back in place, so Keeve and Skier are kind of contained. Keeve communicates that they are looking for the heart of the Draenjeer, but it's proving difficult to find. Maru and Orba help by holding back roots, which retreat. Skier and Keeve, okay, they're holding them back. Skier and Keeve grab onto the roots, and they find the great progenitor. Keeve touches its mind and sees. The GP attacks Skier. Skier rips off the physical, like his metaphysical arm. He rips off, and Chris calls to Starlight Beacon. He rips off the Draenjeer, yada, yada, yada. The Draenjeer are screaming. Keeve and Skier are back in reality, and Keeve has Molita on her cuff. They research no known planet, but there is a little bit of a note, and they called it the Nightmare Conjunction in wild space. So now they have a lead into where the heart of the Draenjeer lives. That takes us to number 7, and our final issue of this week. Here we go. Final one. You all rock if you stayed with me, or if you're catching this on replay, thank you for watching. Number 7. Heart of the Draenjeer, Chapter 2 of Sith and Shadows. The sinister Draenjeer devour all in their path. Jedi Master Aver Kriss forms an uneasy alliance with the treacherous Hutt cartel. Together they will strike at the Draenjeer's home planet deep in wild space. As Master Istala Maru of Starlight Beacon gathers Jedi to help young Knight Kreeve, Trennis helps with the consequences of her triumph over the Draenjeer. Vision. Keeve has a wild vision of Sith and Draenjeer. And what's kind of cool about this vision is there's like the Amaxine station, a Jedi in white robes, red lightsabers, attacking with a red lightsaber. Keeve gets kind of stabbed. And then we have a circle of totems. The Draenjeer in the back. This very, very interesting gold sort of totems that I don't really know what's going on. Sort of reminded me a little bit of Exegol at the time. And we're back on Starlight Beacon. She says Varp. That's another curse. We've got Criff, we've got Druck, we've got Varp. The doctor checks in with Keeve. Keeve seems to be connected with the Draenjeer. She continues to be connected. Keeve looks for Maru. Reflection. She sees herself, and then she sees the Draenjeer. Maru and Kriss chat. They need Jedi in wild space. There are other concerns. And this is, Maru sort of gets us, as the reader, caught up on what's been happening in the books. For example, we're going after Nile remnants. Okay, so that's the Rising Storm. And we're getting ready for the Republic Fair, which is also the Rising Storm. Okay, so now you kind of know the timeline of where book number 7 here takes place. Also, Stellan Gios is mentioned again. A job comes in, and Keeve is assigned it by Maru. We beam ourselves to Chorto's agricultural hub number 42. There is a Nile attack, and they need sprayer droids. Now, you might ask yourself, why does the Nile need sprayer droids? Well, I believe that's a direct reference to the up-and-coming Valo attack, which happens in the tail end of the Rising Storm. Keeve comes to defend the agricultural place, and she yells quite another curse called Shuta, S-C-H-U-T-T-A curse. Keeve is stunned. Another Jedi shows up. Okay, so she kind of, she's about to be defeated. I thought they were hard to kill. Oh my god, no. And then, boom, this guy gets hit. And we have introducing Orla Jareni from young adult novel Into the Dark. She binds all the Nile and sets a beacon for the Republic to pick them up. Orla found Keeve to help her. She is known as a Wayseeker, and she follows the Force and doesn't exactly see the Force as like normal Jedi does. She works outside of the boundaries of the Jedi Order. Keeve finally reveals that she's been struggling to be of help, that the Draenjeer root mind already won. Lots of visions. Keeve is struggling with this. She's revealing that. She finally has this connection with the root mind again, and she sees a vision of Avar Kriss dead and eaten. The next one takes place in August of 21. So we're 8 months into the year 2021. Next week, we'll go over numbers 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think, yeah, let's say. Let's bring them down. Here we go. So next week, we'll do number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Another 7. We are halfway through the High Republic. And it's pretty exciting stuff. Let me just switch over to my FaceTime. All right. So pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, I actually have to say that the series, oh my gosh, has been very exciting. I want to show something off here. For those, because I use and abuse, I see that you collect lots of comics. And for the life of me, I don't know where to put my comics. So I ended up purchasing this from Amazon. Here it is. Oh, it's this plastic container. Look at this thing. Whew. And I've got lots of room to rifle through things. Like this. Hold on. Here we go. So I can rifle through things if I need to find it. And it's not even full, and apparently it can hold 100 carded and packaged books, so that's pretty rad. But yeah, hold on, I'm struggling with this right now. Struggling. Okay. So yeah, I think I like the series a lot. I know what's happening. What's nice is that I know what's happening in the books, and I know what's happening in the comics now, and the way they're weaving the story in. I have to get the next issue of the High Republic because I think I know what's going to happen already because they sort of mention it in Fallen Star, which is the 3rd novel. So I still have to pick up Midnight Horizon, which is another junior novel. But again, this is just weekly comics, and we're going to be rocking and rolling weekly comics up until Kenobi. So that's it. I mean, there's not much else to say at this point in terms of whatever. So next week we are going to we'll cover again a little offshoot side story. I think next week I will show you and go through. This might be, I don't know, we might be too early for this. I don't know where this takes place in the timeline. That's the only problem. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll go this way. We'll go this way. Star Wars High Republic: Eye of the Storm, a dedicated comic on Marchion Ro, who is the big bad of this series. So yes, I highly recommend that. I think they were like $14 to $18 on Amazon. I bought 2 of them, and I don't even need the other one right now just because I don't have enough comics. But I know I'm going to continue to collect, and they're short enough to where I can store them on a shelf and keep them somewhat organized, because I love to stay organized. So, anywho's, everybody, I want to thank you for coming on out, Used and Abused. I appreciate you chatting on in and putting me up on your TV. Hopefully, it sounded okay. It was a little bit more concise. The information was flowing, and it's so much better when I have the information instead of trying to make it up on the fly, for sure. Davey, as always, thank you for joining us. Scarif, I know you were ducking in and out. I appreciate you as always. Do me a favor to help the algorithm and the channel grow. If you could hit the like button before you get on out of here, I would really appreciate that. And if you share the content, I would really even appreciate that even more. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Coming up next week, we are going to do some gaming on Wednesday nights, do a little Mario Kart action, and then Thursday again, Weekly Comics number 3 coming at you. Love all of you people. You are the absolute best, and we'll see you next time.